So this is just a short video commentary on the lab exercises, on the solutions. So the first question was an exercise in doing regular expressions. So you have a paragraph extracted from a Wikipedia page, broken into a list. Then we loop over it, and I'm asking you to do various questions, one of which is to find the line which begins with capital 2, find the end which ends in hilly, select the line with numbers on it, and select the line with two ands. Okay, let's go down to my solutions. So I gave you this code, so here's the text. So we loop over all the text in the list data, and then we print it out. Here the way it is, we loop through everything in the list. So it contains the paragraph. This came from actually a Wikipedia page, and we're using the regular expression library, and we do if re.search, and then the hilly. So we're trying to match the line with hilly at the end. And then we use one of these special meta characters, the dollar. The dollar says match the string at the end of the string, so it matches hilly dot, and then dollar means at the end of the string, and that matches hilly. This is just one of these kind of tricks you use. And the same thing for the two matching, which I just skipped over. Caret 2, I ask you to find the string that starts with 2, and if you use the little caret, that means it matches the start of the string. And you'll find you use these things all the time, because sometimes you want to just pull something out from a string. So caret is the beginning, and dollar is the end. The next question was to extract. The next question was to extract the line, the string with all the numbers in it. Okay, this is perhaps a generic thing. So the way I do here, I loop through the list of strings. I match on what this notation means is it matches on any digit between 0 and 9, 0 and 9, 0 and 9. So essentially it'll match three numbers. There are other ways to do this. This is the way I did it. And so in this case it'll match both 954 and the 368. And you can make these things more specific. And there are other ways of doing it. This is one way to do it. So this string here, these special characters means match any digit 0 to 9, and then the next thing has to be 0 to 9, and the next thing has to be 0 to 9. So it'll match three numbers. So with these regular expressions, there's a little syntax how to match different strings, and there's always a little bit of experimentation. I was for myself experimenting a little bit. The final thing was to match a string with two ands on it, and unfortunately what you find in this the trouble with text is, so here we have and here, but also there's an and in the moorland there. So when I design the string, I match space. Dot means any character, and star means any length of characters. So what this thing will match is space and then a bunch of characters, and then another and. And I think that's going to match the first thing. And the reason I have this additional, I mean, usually with these things it takes a bit of experimentation, because for kind of real text, you can sometimes match stuff you don't want to do. So I usually end up experimenting a bit. So I kind of developed this in a couple of iterations, and I think I had to add the space, so I didn't select a string with three ands in a word like moorland. Okay, and these things are very powerful, these regular expressions. Okay, so the next question was SQL queries from the Kilo database, which I provided in the questions. So here's the command we use all the time. So I just put everything in a function. It's a super efficient way to do this. So I pass the function the name of the file, a tag just so I can show what part of the question, and then a piece of SQL. And this is the text we've seen before, and I've not done any formatting. So it just opens the database file, does the connection, execute the SQL command, and then just prints out the result. So the first question was to find all the titles. So there's a film table, and it has a title column. So we just use the standard SQL syntax: select title from file. There's another. The next question is to find the distinct ratings. So rating is like PG. PG. These are Americans. R. PG-13. So each film has a rating, but we only actually want them to come in once. So this is what the distinct is. So it's using the same syntax. Select distinct rating from film. So it selects the rating, but then it only counts each rating once. It doesn't kind of do multiple copies. That's what the distinct says. And then the next command, we're asked to find the films with PG rating. And here, so we have select title from film. So title's a column in the film table. And we just do this where statement where rating equals PG. So the next statement is count the number of films with different ratings. Need to use the group by. So here I'm selecting count, select ratings, and then this command count star counts the number of different ratings, and then from film, and then group by rating. So what this SQL command does is it selects the rating, and then counts each different rating, and then produces a little summary table. So you get G 178, NC 17 210. Okay, and the last one here I've provided a slightly different solution. So here I've selected, so I've built up this SQL command. So what this command actually does is it selects the film title, and then there's a film title, there's a category table, and then I've had to do a join. So this command is slightly different than what I asked you. So here I'm selecting film title and the category, and because they're in different tables, I want to find the film and the category of the film, so whether it's horror or comedy. And then I have this join table to join the information from the two tables, and then I have here category.name equals horror, and then I've matched the category ID equals film category ID, because the way that the tables are broken up into about 3 different tables. There's film category, and category, and I do a join on it because I'm putting information from multiple tables, and then here I have category equals name equals horror. Okay, so the final question was question 3, SQL and Python. So we've hardwired a lot of the into Python. We've kind of hardwired SQL commands, but we know how to input a string. So one way of doing this would be to actually ask the user to input the SQL command. So here we have, and this is what we're doing here, this thing SQL underscore equals input. So when you run this, you'll be asked input SQL command, and then I print out the SQL command. Then here's the connects to the student database. So does all the stuff, and then the actual execution is the string that is inputted. So we read SQL underscore from the keyboard, so the person can put in an arbitrary SQL command, and then there's and then that's executed, and then I put in some exception handling to keep any errors. Okay, so we're just learning about this, but so I put a little video at the end because there's kind of common error that there's a kind of common security bug that people can do, that if you do if your input, say on a website, can take SQL and you're asking for password and username, if you're not careful the way this string's entered, you can actually put in arbitrary SQL commands, then you get access to the user's data. And there's a little video at the end that demonstrates what happens, where you can actually, here we're just asking to execute an SQL command, but I mean, if your input is asking for a password, the username and password, and then you can kind of fool the input system by putting in SQL, you can actually then get access to the to all the information. So there's a little video at the end that I encourage you to look at.